Hello everyone, this is Diane. I believe that I am ready to show you my craft room. This will not be an in-depth tour, but I will show you where things are, and if you would like, I can do it in sections in other videos and show you exactly what is in all the drawers and everything. But we'll talk about what is where. So here we are at the base of my steps, just entering the craft room. You've seen lots of it as I have shown you progress, but we're just going to go through it all. If I turn to my left, this is where the staircase is, and there are things there that I need to take upstairs. But this is where my shipping supplies are, and products that are in my Etsy shop or that I am prepping to go into my Etsy shop, and shipping supplies here. Tissue paper, envelopes. I have my big envelopes there, but I have my little cellophane bags, tape, pens, scissors, all that stuff is right there. There's my laundry room / utility room. The freezer and the furnace are in there. And this is a long wall in my craft room. That's the fuse box right there. But this is a collection of wooden crates that I had in my closets in my other house. And this stack of crates contains books and book covers that will be turned into journals. Now, I agree that's way too many books to do in the rest of my lifetime, but I don't know what else to say. While I was down here finishing up the details down here, I think my lights dimmed. I don't really know why, but I hope that it's bright enough in here. On top, I have my really cute recipe boxes that I have picked up at flea markets over the last few years. And they do contain some little bits. And after my brother finishes up what he's doing, then I will possibly be able to have those displayed better. And here is my bookshelf that I did show it in a recent video where I had all of my ephemera boxes, like index cards and postcards and things like that on there. And then when my shelves went up over my table, they got moved over there. And then I was able to take all of my art supplies out of the laundry room. They were just scattered around in boxes in there. So I still have flashcards up here and index cards here and some large envelopes there. My ephemera binders there. And art supplies with my color cubes from Jeannie. Also my distress sprays from Jeannie. So now that I'm in my craft room, I can have fun playing around with those wonderful gifts that my friend Jeannie sent me. Down there are my color sprays, like Tim Holtz distress sprays and dilutions, and then the ones that I make with food coloring. They are so much easier to access than they were. This little tray has watercolor tubes and inks. And I have my colored pens and Sharpies, and this little spinny thing that has some of my art supplies. This little box has distress crayons in it. I've got my Stampin' Up! Markers there in that bucket. I think there's something behind it too. My acrylic paints, and then this little container just has pencils, watercolor or colored pencils, and things like that. Some media jars, and right there is a box of resin that I bought from Amazon, and I still have never used it, but I really want to play around with it. And at the bottom I have some art books and art papers. So I'm very happy to have these out where they're so much easier to access than they used to be. Then we move on to this section with these wooden drawers. I didn't know I left my camera sitting right there. So these drawers have papers in them. I have to relabel them because they're not what it says here, but this is my large sewing pattern book pages and large fashion magazine pages. And the big calendar pages. I can't remember the name of the lithographers, but you've seen me use those calendar pages. This one has this one is the art instruction books. These are paper sacks, and this is the atlas pages. Large ledger paper, I guess it's just ledger pages, and these are more ledger pages. And down here is paper dolls. I have large Courier and Ives, that's a lithographer with the calendars. Large sheets here, wallpaper and other things, and my teacher planner books, the big ones are in there, and some other big things there. In this one I have music, just some miscellaneous large papers. This is specialty paper, the 12 by 12 cardstocks, wallpaper pieces, old calendars that are smaller than the Courier and Ives ones. These are the school workbooks. And what is this? I guess it's more miscellaneous large papers and books. And then this, I think we got this at Sam's Club many, many years ago. My husband bought it for me, and everything needs to be fine-tuned as far as organizing goes. But this one is my 8.5 by 11 cardstocks and the colored copy papers and miscellaneous types of papers. Many of this over here is vintage. And in this little container, I have things to make unusual book covers. So the sewing cards, like the lace-up cards and things like that, and the little Hallmark gift books, and this little cloth book, I think I want to make into journal covers. And then this little container, it was a makeup container. I think I got it from Amazon, and I need to organize the drawers, but it contains jewelry pieces and just little trinkets and things. Right here, this all needs to be organized. This contains tools and supplies for making jewelry, which I don't make, but I make beaded things for my journal spines and stuff. This is my new bead container. I am going to make adjustments on that because I filled it from the top down, and I should have the things I use most often down here because it's easier to reach. So I have jewelry findings up here, and they will be down in the bottom. And then I'll put the colors in. So these are empty, so for now I have to organize all this stuff, so they might get filled. Okay, so then moving on, I have my cutting table. I'll move this. This is just a rolling cart that I'm going to have behind me while I'm sitting at my table, and I can turn around and do gluing and maybe cutting on this and keep some supplies in it. It does have these little boxes. They're project boxes, I think, and they have digital ephemera. So I'll just pull that out of the way for now. This is my cutting table. It does go up and down. I don't think it's plugged in right now. I have it at the highest height because I will be standing when I use it. But I can cut with my Sizzix and my Cricut, and I have the bigger Cricut on the box down there that covers my water meter. The bigger Cricut is sitting on top of that. So this is not organized the way I want it because I have my ink pad container there, and that won't be there after my brother puts in my desk. So this will look nicer. There will be more room. But if I'm using my Sizzix, I can take the Cricut and put it down on the floor so I have room. And this is all of my metal dies, these two, and they are organized. So I can quickly look for what I want. This set of drawers contains what I need for the Sizzix, more little tools, and the dryer sheets that I use to help get out the intricate cuts. And this one is the big steel dies. And these are embossing folders. And this is Cricut cartridges and the books that go with it. Down here, I have the large platforms for the Sizzix, and then my stencils, and they may end up being hung on the wall again once my brother is done. Just, I need to know how much wall space I will have, because he is making a wooden holder for my paper punches, and that's going to hang on the wall over here. Moving on, I have my large glass mat here, and the quilting cutters, you know, the rulers, and some mats, table mats. And I did find my Tyvek and chipboard just today. So I put them in this little magazine holder, and it fits right there very nicely. I want the Tyvek and cardboard real handy while I'm working. Sorry, I'm getting out of breath from bending down and stuff. This is a project cart, which I have been having next to me right here in this position while I work. And I would put my stamps and inks and things on this shelf or on both shelves. Extra papers for my project would be there, my cutters, and miscellaneous things like chipboard that I use for stamping, and a crimper, and the stamping platform, and the envelope cutting board, and a box of tissues. But this won't be here because my brother is building a table with an L that goes out here. So I don't know what will happen here. I'm thinking this is going to fit underneath the table that he's building, so it's not like I can have more shelves there. We'll talk about more of what's under the table in a minute. I did hang up that little container that I had in my other room with contact strips. I rehung it and put my stapler and staples in it. Let's look at the tabletop. I have this paper tray that has, when I'm reaching for white or cream colored cardstocks to back things with, and there's also a paper weight there for backing things to use for journal cards and pockets and whatnot. That's on the lower shelves. The upper shelves are used for the current project, whatever current project I'm working on. I have papers that, and this is a garden journal I've just started working on, so I have papers up here for that. And this little, you've probably seen this, it has several different little containers. It has ephemera and stuff for my garden journals. So back there are my tape guns, and here I have this little shelf that has the inks I use the most, the vintage photo, and the little distressors, my brayers. There's embossing ink and black inks there, this little mini cutter, papers that I need for just making notes, and this little cutting mat that I don't use very much. And then in these containers, I have my Marie Claire inks, and what are the other inks here? Ranger, I think. Archival inks. Very handy. This container needs to be organized again, but it's got my ruler, scissors, pens, pencils, these things, bone folders. Just any little tool that I reach for all the time. And it's got a magnetic front, so I put my little tweezers, which I use more than you might think. They just come in handy. These are just old tweezers. There's my light and my glues that I keep handy. Now this is not supposed to be here. Where is it supposed to be? Things are not the way they're supposed to be here. So this is my glue spinner. This goes in there. And this is just a refill, so that doesn't even belong on this table. Sorry, I'm adjusting things. I have a power strip there to have my lights plugged in and my tablet, which isn't working very well down here. I have my tablet right there, and I usually have YouTube playing on it while I'm working, but it keeps buffering and not working down here, so I might need to upgrade my internet because I'm in the basement now. So this is my little container that has paper clips and pins, like bulb pins and safety pins, just different little metal pieces, more paper clips there. Keep them handy right there. And then my brushes for inking. My mat that I work on, you see me working on this all the time. And then this little stand is to hold my, oh, that was my finger, sorry. It's to hold my tablet, but I also have some stamps that I want to keep handy. Some little Denison stickers and other kinds of just little vintage pieces that I want to remember and use. And this is some paper clips and some little game letters there, just to have them handy. And then on this side of the table, I have my sewing center. So my scissors are here, my pins, and my sewing machine. It's dim over here. I have that light clipped into the ceiling, so I need to get another one for over here. And it's all nice and clean over here. I don't have all these little boxes that used to be cluttering up. This is just fabric that I pulled for my current project. And a bottle of water. So let's look underneath the table. Let's go back over here. We're not going to look in all the drawers. That set of drawers there is 12 by 12. It holds 12 by 12 papers. So that's what it is. It's my patterned papers and cardstocks. Right over here I have the long, like, doodle papers that I use as a drop sheet when I'm working. And that is my scoreboard. Here is my drawer set that has corner rounders and punches and hole punches and stuff. Distress inks and oxides, the stamp blocks, the distress tools and felt pieces, and distress inks, or alcohol inks, I mean, with the gloves that I use, and different tools for alcohol inks. I might move these somewhere else because I don't use them that often, and I could probably make better use of that space. But there will be there will be tweaking done to my room as I work. That drawer unit back there, I said I wasn't going to open all the drawers, but it has particular stamps, like for journaling stamps and words and alphabet, scraps of ledger and lined paper for backing things with, and then 2 drawers of scrapbook paper. Tim Holtz is down there, and Stampin' Up! Is down there. And then here I have 2 drawers with scraps and a little basket with little scraps. The top drawer is pattern paper and the bottom drawer is colored cardstock. I don't like them because it's really hard to get the drawers back in. It just pushes everything back and it's just difficult. So my brother is making a pair of drawers that will be attached to my table right there, just for that purpose. And over here, I don't even remember. There's my thread up here. This little tray has supplies for sewing. My thread, more thread. Rickrack is in there. This is velvets, appliques, and feed sack fabric. Okay, now the shelves. I'll start at this end. I have my velvet ribbon up here and in here. And this is, oh wait, this is velvet ribbon. So what's this? I don't even know. Oh, it's velvet ribbon. And this is little bits of lace. Oh, it is kind of velvet ribbon and tulle also. And tulle, whoops, tulle there. This is fabric flips and clusters that I've made. This is bits of lace appliques, the bigger ones, and embroidery floss, and I don't know, I have to label it. Oh, it's my threads for making charms and sewing journals together. This is eyelet lace and flowers and appliques, I think. I'm sorry, I accidentally turned the camera off. So there's flowers and different appliques in there. Eyelet fabric, not the trim, but the fabric. And this is tulle fabric, lacy and tulle fabric. And this is sari silk for tying. And a bucket of pom-pom trim, and then these spools of pom-pom and ruffles, fabric yo-yos, and fabric strips. And here is a container of small pieces of fabric. It used to be in one of these drawers, but I rearranged how my fabric was organized, and I had more. It just didn't fit in that drawer, so this is much handier. And then my little buckets that have tiny pieces of lace and fabrics for making little clusters and whatnot, and some even, this is smaller pieces of fabric, but this is smaller than that, so I would go to this for fabric flips, and this. These are what I would grab for making fabric flips unless I'm using specialty fabrics. This is just assorted things like gauze, like bandages, vintage gauze bandages, and silk strips on rolls. This is crinkled seam binding, and that's my kit for binding journals. I have little crochet motifs, the little bits of yo-yo that you cut out into little emblem or motifs. This glove box contains little pieces of muslin and cheesecloth and things like that. This one has small strips of lace. And this one is the same small strips of lace, but fancier laces. Those are all glove boxes that I've picked up at flea markets. And then I have little pieces of muslin and neutral fabrics in that little, sorry, I knew that was gonna happen. Some twine, and this little box has stamped muslin pieces. That's my box that has all my supplies for setting eyelets. This is baker's twine and the eyelash trims and things. Seam binding in there. This little box lid has tiny tags of various sizes, colors, and styles. And this is my digital, my digital cards, and then other, you saw a recent video when I was showing organizing the boxes of ephemera on that bookshelf. This is the little box that has the eyelets that I cut out with my dies and stars and little pieces like that. I have some stamps I want to keep handy and some of my red tape. This little box of, sorry, I'm not holding this camera very well. Little paper pieces for journaling. Back there are the tags from the dry cleaning stuff that I got. And my washi tape, Comes in very handy. I can just reach right up and pull them down and see what I want. And various tags. These boxes were also in that video showing the organizing of my ephemera on that bookshelf, so I won't go into any detail on those. And I think that's everything at this table. So we're going to skip the Nook. We'll pass right over it and just continue going around this main room. Right here in this little open area behind the chair there, I have dyed papers and scraps of dyed papers and papers to use in collages. And that bag back there just has scraps of file folder and things that I want to create ephemera with. And this 3-tiered cart has my large stamp sets. So they're Tim Holtz, Lorna Taylor, or Taylor Made Journals, and Sam Poole, Creative Expressions, and other big sets like that. These are my placemats that I turned into ephemera holders. There's one here and 2 over there. And if you want me to, I will show you how I have them organized, and I have more of those. These are paper punches, so these will be getting moved, at least some of the ones in that top. My brother is building a rack for them. So this is going to be different once I get that. He's already started it. He sent me a picture. It was done. He just needed the dowels. So he had dowels ordered. So this bookshelf in that pink box right there is extra adhesives and cutting blades. And that box is a bunch of those little photo boxes, and it has little stamps, like a lot of Stampin' Up! Stamps and things like that. And there's some decorative things here, but also useful things. Like I want this stamp turn style thing to be decorative, but I also want to use it. I don't even know if there are index cards in that vintage box there. That grayish box is really taupe, but it looks gray in the video. There's pink sequins there. And my scripture verses, the daily bread, the label stamps are in here. And these are vintage books I want to be able to grab and pull pages off of. These are wallpaper scraps, and I think this is grungy stuff to use in grungy journals. Now, I had done a video showing some clear plastic containers that I got for this size of stamp box, and I ordered them from Amazon, and they didn't work because they tapered at the bottom too much. So just yesterday, I took one of these boxes to Walmart with me, and this is what I could find, and I was very excited to find it. They are just the right size. Well, there's a little extra room here. I wanted them to be about 6 inches because these boxes are less than 6 inches, and I could fit 4 across if they were 6 inches. And I found it, even though they're gray and not clear. I do have to organize them so that I know what is in each container. I just grabbed boxes and put them in there, so I will get them organized so I can find what I want. But I'm very excited to have these. I can flip through them. I might do some adjusting to have them on a lower shelf so I can actually see them better. Now down here I have my various collections. Some of these boxes are kits, so that's a Raggedy Ann kit, that's a farm kit when I want to make a farm journal. And some of these this is animals cut from children's books. So things cut from children's books and old magazines, and they're all labeled. And then I have more of the kits down here. These are book themes, like the Barbie books, the Holly Hobby books. Those are all themed boxes. These are things I need to fix or finish. So that's all, just that one little container. The Barbie books to go with the Barbie kits, that's just an extra box there. This is just more of the same. And I have some tall books here for Holly Hobby and the Child's Garden of Verses. Down here, right there, they're just miscellaneous materials that I could use as book covers. Those two boxes sitting right there, I don't want them just sitting on the floor. So when I organize and fix things up here and use some of those kit supply boxes and then don't need them anymore, because I'm not going to maintain a Barbie kit or Holly Hobby kit or Raggedy Ann kit after I make however many journals I'm making. I want to be done with those boxes, and then I'll have room to put the rest of them up there. This is my box of homemade ephemera. It's divided up into different categories, and it's pretty full. I should be using that. And I have extra stamps up here, looks like. Oh, that's vintage labels, and these are categorized wooden stamps. These are my wooden stamps. So that's music stamps, and these drawers are not stamps. In fact, that one's pretty empty, but I have the larger can labels and stuff in here, and some miscellaneous vintage supplies in there, and the rest are wooden stamps, and they're categorized. I'll tell you, I won't open them, but I'll tell you. Flower, I don't think they're organized that way, but my categories are food and cooking, animals, fantasy, which includes fairies and Wizard of Oz and dragons and stuff, but I don't have much of that anymore. Vintage, flowers, and for that I should just write botanical, because I include fruits and vegetables and, you know, plant life, trees. Scripture and borders. One I can't read. Oh, this is ladies, and this is just called decorative. And backgrounds. There's a space here. There's an outlet behind it that I can access, but I have this box of all the little photo boxes, and it contains metal pieces and buttons, maybe not buttons, but plastic and metal, like 3D stuff. And in this box, it's Christmas, for making Christmas journals. This definitely needs some work, but I have my decorative tins on top. And I have fabrics. This is empty. I just put it in there to have a place to put it. So it's just different fabrics, some linens, muslins and cheesecloths, and my ribbons. And this box is what I just bought from Bob at the flea market yesterday, so it needs to be sorted out and put away. And in here, again, I need to organize in here, but this contains my domestic arts and recipe book, journal stuff, and sewing patterns, vintage sewing patterns. So that concludes the main section of the room. Let's look at the Nook. I don't know how long the first video was that I got cut off, but the Nook shouldn't take long. So I have this chair to sit in when I want to sit and watch TV and do some handwork, cutting or sewing. And I have that on the wall to hang, to include my small journals that I made or purchased. This sign I picked up at the flea market. Pink isn't just a color, it's an attitude. And I have some towers of plastic drawers here with different supplies. I won't go into detail in this video. If you want to know what's in them, let me know, and we'll do a separate video. I love this little box. It's got paper doll clothes in it that didn't have matching dolls. Sometimes I just get a box of paper dolls and it's just pieces of clothing and stuff. So this whole bookshelf, well, it has my bind it all and my cinch and some wires up there. But the bookshelf contains the bigger journals that I have made or purchased or received as gifts. And that box down there contains my memorabilia. Some of it won't go in a journal, but some of it I think will. And I don't even know what this is. Oh, it's just papers to make ephemera with. Sorry about the shadows. And these are two cubicles stacked together, and each cubicle has each unit has 6 cubicles. In that pink box up there, that contains my whole collection of vintage greeting cards, and it is full. That little quilted box, it looks like the glove boxes, but it's square, and it's a handkerchief box, so it has my handkerchiefs. And that mother of pearl hand I use to hold my pages open of journals when I'm taking pictures. And then I have various fabrics here. Some of the boxes are labeled. So there's regular cotton fabrics. There are sheets and kitchen linens and quilted pieces, patchwork pieces, burlap, all kinds of things, flour sacks. In the bottom, in that white basket, is my collage stuff for doing glue books. And in the plaid basket there, that is pages that I've taken out of magazines and notebooks that I have made little sketches of ideas for tags and journal cards and journals and stuff like that. And that box right there is weights, little dumbbells and ankle weights and stuff for doing exercises. I have my fan here, so I just plug it in and move it where I need it, wherever I'm working. So let me move it out of the way. This tower has these little tiny drawers with my tiny little ephemera. So this can be another video also of what is inside all those little drawers and these drawers. And this at the bottom, this bigger drawer, I mentioned in a different video that the front of the drawer broke off. It's right there. But this is where I wanted to keep my digital kits that are printed, things like that. So that's what's in there. And then I have my TV there. I uploaded the app for Prime, Amazon Music. So I was playing music in here. It's better than the YouTube music that I had been playing. So I have Amazon Music playing while I'm working. And that's a DVD that's not hooked up, DVD player. Box of envelopes there. And then this little box I picked up at Hobby Lobby. It's got my ticket rolls on top. Sorry fabrics, what I have left. That's empty. And, oh, more tickets. That's empty. So I can put stuff in there. These drawers have my dry cleaner tickets and ephemera, vintage photographs, and these are yearbook photographs, vintage yearbook. In here is just an assortment, my labelers, my slides, like the little plastic buckles, elastics, and some metal fasteners, leather, and piano roll, and some chunky yarns. This is ephemera and things like that for large journals, and millinery flowers. And these are more ephemera pieces that will go into my own journals. And that's everything, I think. These nails were already on the wall, so I hung up these pieces that were made for me. This is a little printer's block that is a D. Pretty sure my friend Jill made this for me with a little heart. And this charm. I have those trays. If I want to make any kind of clusters or anything like that, I can load one of those trays up with supplies, that came out weird, and then take it upstairs with me if I want to. And that basket just has some more dumbbells in it. I'll organize them together. But this is my little exercise machine that I like to have this. It was in my bedroom, and I would use it before I left my room in the morning to help loosen up my joints and my back and everything, because it's just like a glider thing. But I do like using it. And then that came from a flea market. I have more pictures to go on the walls. So, did I mention this? I don't think I did. Right next to my sewing station is this tower. And this is fringes and trim, embroidered trims and stuff. These are little fabric pieces that are cut into shapes that I've gotten at flea markets. And then various laces and just things like that. My laces and trims in those drawers. So hopefully I'll do another video to show you more details of some of the drawers. I hope that you enjoyed this tour. I am so excited to have it pretty much done, and I will be working in it hopefully tomorrow. My daughter's going to come over and watch a special HBO special. I subscribed to HBO just so we could watch this Billy Joel documentary that's two parts, and the first part is 2.5 hours. So she's coming over to watch part 1 with me today, pretty soon. So I probably won't be working down here today, but I'm so excited that I got it done. I'm saying it's done. I'm calling it. So I hope you liked the tour, and I'll see you in the next video, and I hope that you have a creative day. Bye.